Before starting this module, I had never professionally interviewed someone, and when I recorded my two-way, I underestimated the amount of questions I needed to ask to get a good selection of answers for 90 seconds. This caused me to have to refilm it on a different day with more questions prepared. One thing you can never predict as a journalist is the length of your interviewee's answer. You may believe you can block the answers out yourself, but they may not be thinking the same thing. On my second time of recording the two-way interview, I completed it on a very windy day outside, and due to this, the audio quality was not the best. I had limited time to rearrange the recording, and because of this, it was not the best planned, and I did not book out any equipment from the media loan shop, and therefore the audio quality was further weakened because it was relying on my DSLR microphones and not any separate microphone sources. Moving forward with journalism and professional interviews, I need to be over-prepared with a number of questions, as you can always cut down what you're asking and what you include in the final cut, but you can't add on answers to meet the required airtime. As well as this, I need to be better prepared when it comes to what equipment I have access to achieve the best quality production throughout my projects. As well as technical difficulties, there has been other challenges throughout this project. Due to the time of year, the weather has not been the best outside, which means that when I was trying to get vox pops, people have not been willing to stop and chat, even if you let them know that it's only short questions. This meant that getting enough interview footage took a lot longer than initially planned, and therefore, if we ever have a project like this again, I need to factor in more time for creating content. To become a journalist, you must understand news values and engage with them when producing your own news stories, and I made sure this was something I followed throughout this module. Galton and Rouge created an influential list of 12 news values that was categorised into impact, including meaningfulness and personalisation. News is not made in a vacuum, but individual stories often lead into bigger stories. Following this mindset, when gathering my news stories, I looked at topics that are recent and some that have recently been reported on to decide my own angle to the story to create the next part. As someone that is passionate about live music, I constantly see articles that highlight artists and singers saying they're going to cap resale prices, and other singers speaking about how they aim to make their tickets affordable, and I decided for my two-way to do a different spin on this story, and I spoke to a band member that is affected by the high prices from the beginning of their career. This is a news story that would interest me as a fangirl because ticket prices for concerts are such a pressing issue that is constantly talked about on social media, and therefore music fans globally are the target audience for this news piece. As a journalist, you must use a variety of sources to gather your own news stories, and the overall concept behind this led me to think of one of my Vox Pop questions. My video Vox Pop focused on finding out if people thought social media was a reliable news source, which is something that is highly debated within the journalism community due to how easy it is for rumours to spread. Social media allows anyone the ability to post any fake news to generate traction to their profile, and this creates issues of whether all the news you can see online is reliable or follows news values and ethics. With an increase in AI and regular creators on social media, this is a pressing issue that worries social media users, and this Vox Pop has been created to ease the nerves of cautious users to know it's not just them that are nervous about the news content they are seeing online. As my main topic of interest in journalism is sport, mainly Formula 1, I wanted to do a Vox Pop that focused on this. When I started gathering topics for this Media Toolkit unit, the Formula 1 Championship was very close and the 2025 season was drawing to a close. At the time of creating my stories, there was 4 drivers in contention for the championship, and this is what I wanted to focus on in my Vox Pop. This would be a good source of news and content for any Formula 1 or motorsport fan that wanted to see the viewpoints of other fans on this year's chaotic championship. Once again, focusing on news values, I wanted to draw attention to a different audience in my video two-way. For Matt Reed's assignment, I did my social media campaign on the lack of funding in amateur sport, which is what I also did my video two-way on. My audience for this was anyone that's interested in sports, and I know this story angle successfully interests sports fans, as during my one-to-one with Matt Reed, he expressed how this intrigued him, despite my niche angle focusing on the lack of funding in hockey specifically. From week 1, we learnt how to format news stories with Lisa Perry and Matt Reed, and Lisa Perry helped us develop our skills on how to create Vox Pops and approaching members of the public. When editing my projects, I used Adobe Audition for the audio interviews, which we got taught as a class by Paul Adkins. As this was a new software to me, I struggled getting my head around some of the features, so I watched some extra YouTube videos to help me out. When editing any of my video footage, I used Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a software that I am familiar with due to having to use it for my own work and throughout my time at college.